Thank you everyone for joining the session. My name is Rehab Ndwati from Kenya. Join me in welcoming Christian Krom, who's on a mission to inspire a future where technology enhances and mirrors the best aspects of humanity. He's the author of the best-selling book, Humanification, Go Digital, Stay Human, and today he will discuss the future of AI technology and how we can integrate it into education. Let's give him a round of applause as he takes the stage. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rahab. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. In the next 30 minutes, I'd like to share my insights about a future that will look completely different than the future we have today. So I will discuss how new technologies like artificial intelligence will impact our society, our skills, intelligence, and our personal lives, and how it will affect the skill set that we need in the future. So a lot of people ask me, okay, you're a futurist, so how do you envision the future? Do you have a crystal ball at home? And the answer is no, unfortunately. But what I do have is very skillful teachers. One of them is biology, and the other one is history. And so we are going to look into the future, and we are going to look towards technologies like AI, but we first have to understand where we came from and how biology works. Because during this presentation, you will learn that those two are integrated on a level that we haven't seen before. So in the early days, human beings lived in a stable and predictable world. The world that we lived in was not bigger than the eye could see, not bigger than our feet can bring us. And changes happened on a global scale. And some of these changes took thousands or generations to take effect. And that was fine. We could anticipate change, we could adapt to it. But today we live in a completely different world. We live in a world that is highly connected, a world that has become unstable and unpredictable. We live in a world where changes are not happening on a local scale anymore, they're happening on a global scale. And they don't take generations, they take weeks, days, sometimes hours to take effect. And we see all kinds of exponential technologies that are converging: robotics, artificial intelligence, the Internet of Things, blockchain technology, broadband technology, mixed reality, augmented reality. All these technologies are converging and they start to reinforce each other. And if you would ask me as a futurist to paint a picture of the next 5 to 10 years, then this picture might look like this. I truly believe that a tidal wave, a tsunami of digitization, automation, and disruption is coming our way. And for a lot of people, this is quite a scary outlook because all this change will have an effect on your daily life, on your job, on your skills, on your talents. But I believe it's all a matter of perspective. If you look at this same wave from a surfer perspective, then you can see this wave as a massive opportunity. But you have to know when to position yourself at what location to leverage the power of this wave and to make exponential speed. And that's why a lot of tech startups are moving really fast now in these days. So they're growing from a few customers to hundreds of millions of customers only in a few months' time. So my background is technology. I founded an IT company, a technology company. We are building chatbots and these kind of stuff. And my pre-assumption was always that these waves were driven by technology itself. But during the writing of my book, Humanification, I discovered that the technology itself is just it's a tool. It's not the end goal. What I discovered is that these waves are propelled by human needs and human behavior. And if a technology becomes more intuitive, more human to interact with, then people start to embrace it. And then we see that this technology becomes disruptive because it's adapted by a large amount of people. So disruption is all about identifying new user interfaces, new technological interfaces that can help us to manage complexity. And Steve Jobs, the founder of Apple, said it very nicely when he introduced the first iPhone. He said, technology is all about enabling ordinary people to do extraordinary things. And that's exactly what technology is doing. And we have seen a lot of interfaces. The web browser made the internet available for the majority of the people. The smartphone made personal computing available for a large amount of people in the world. And now we are moving to a new interface, ChatGPT, artificial intelligence, that will help us to manage even more complexity and to solve even more complex problems. So when all these technologies are evolving that fast, can we still predict where the next big wave will be? And can we still anticipate this wave? And can we position ourselves at the right spot at the right time to leverage the power of this wave? Well, I believe we can. About 12 years ago, I made a profound discovery. And this discovery changed the way I look towards technology. It changed the way I look towards the future and towards organizations. And I'd like to share this insight with you due to a personal story. About 12 years ago, my daughter was born, Lieke. And after 3 months, we discovered she had some severe health problems. She went to hospital and she needs heart surgery right away to save her life. But during the surgery, everything that could go wrong went wrong. Her body was not responding to the medication, not responding to the medical procedures as they expected. And they brought her to the intensive care department. And later that day, we heard that the cause of her illness was a very rare genetic disorder. And there were only 5 or 6 people in the world with the same kind of disorder, and they all died before their first birthday. So then I started to have a quest to save our daughter's life. And in that search, I started to look different towards health and towards the human body. I started to see the human body as a society of cells that work together in harmony and that already solved all the problems that we have still ahead of us as humanity. When I studied those cells, I saw all kinds of parallels and correlations between cells and humans. And cells are just like humans. They communicate with their environment, with their neighbors, with their colleague cells. And cells, just like humans, can be in two extreme states. In one state, a cell is in a stress mode. And when a cell is in a stress mode, it reduces its communication with the environment and all kinds of processes start to go wrong within the body on a cellular level, on a tissue level, on an organ level, and this can affect the whole body. But on the other end of the spectrum, if a cell is in a relaxed mode, in a flow state, the cell wall becomes thinner, it starts to communicate more with the environment, it becomes more creative, more innovative, and it can solve much bigger problems. And this is called the self-healing ability of the body. And it is extremely powerful, but we just have to put the body into a state that is activated. Well, based on these insights, we found a therapy that saved our daughter's life. Today, Lieke is 12 years old. She's completely healthy, and she leads a completely normal life. But during the research, I discovered many more parallels between how cells solve problems and how human beings solve problems. And I started to map those problems, to learn from it. Cells are just like humans. They are social. They multiply, they communicate, and they start to build communities. We call them organisms. And when these organisms become more complex over time, they encountered all kinds of problems. And these cells solve these problems to move to the next stage of evolution or creation, name it as you want. And what I found out is that from single-celled organisms in the ocean towards the society of cells that we call the human body, we move through 7 disruptive waves. And in each disruptive wave, these cells develop new biological systems, biological technologies to build new kind of organizations or organisms. And each wave resulted in a different kind of species. And I gave each wave a specific theme. So the first wave is about interaction. The second wave is all about infrastructure. The third wave about information. The fourth wave about imitation. The fifth wave about instinct. The sixth wave about intelligence, and the seventh wave is all about imagination. So in the first wave, cells started to communicate with each other. They started to exchange information, and this helped them to stay safe and to build stone-like structures like coral, which is basically the prototype of our bones. And this helped them to extract food from the environment, and therefore they were growing faster and bigger. So they needed some kind of infrastructure. So these cells started to develop digestive systems and vascular systems to export or import the raw materials from the outside world and transform that into food and nutrition and energy for the cells in the inside world. This created even larger organisms, and they needed some kind of information infrastructure. So they started to develop the nervous system, but also eyes and ears to become aware of the environment so that it could adapt to the environment and survive even better. This resulted in even more bigger, complex organisms, and they needed some kind of instinct, some kind of automation. So cells started to develop the reptile brain, and the reptile brain is basically the automation inside of our body. It's the brainstem, and it automates all the internal processes. So your heartbeat, your temperature, your pressure, blood pressure, everything is being automated by the reptile brain. But this resulted in very static, large organisms. So we needed some kind of emotion. So there was the fifth wave, which was all about the limbic brain or the social brain or the mammal brain. And this brain helped organisms to learn from other organisms, to copy behavior and imitate behavior, but also to become more social, to live in herdles and in swarms. But this resulted in very emotional organisms, so we needed some kind of rationality. So in the sixth wave, we saw the intelligence wave. And the intelligence wave was all about the neocortex brain, which helped us to learn and adapt in real time. It helped us to stay stand on 2 feet and keep balance, but also to develop all kinds of tools and to solve very big problems. And the last biological wave was all about imagination. It's about the prefrontal cortex that helped us to learn and adapt languages, but also to understand concepts, but also to visualize things which are not yet there. So basically what I discovered is that from single-celled organisms towards sapiens, we moved through 7 stages. Each stage is a problem, and we solved it with biological systems. And my discovery continues today, because from sapiens to society, we encounter the same kind of problems, and we solve them in the same kind of way, in the same order. But now we don't call it biology, we call it technology. And we don't call it organisms, we call it organizations. So the first big wave, big technological wave that we encountered was the wave all about agriculture. The agricultural revolution. We started to build stone-like structures that keep us safe from the environment. We start to extract food from the environment, and our communities became bigger. In the lower bottom corner, we see the eukaryotic cell, which is the building block of our body. And in the middle, we see one of the first settlements in Africa. Our communities became bigger, and we needed some kind of infrastructure. So the same theme like in biology. But now it's not about digestive systems and vascular systems. It's about large industry that converted the raw materials from the ground into food, nutrition, and building blocks for the society and energy. As you can see here, this is an aerial photograph of Berlin, German city, by night. And in the right bottom corner, we see the vascular system of an organism. So what's inside of us, we also built that outside of us. But it's too big, too fast to understand for us. Then we move to the third wave, which is all about, again, information. And we call it the telecom revolution. Our communities became bigger, more widespread, and we needed some kind of interconnection. So we started to build telecom tools. The telegraph, the radio, television. We started to build sensors like the microphone or a camera to make television and radio possible. And today we have a vast network that we call the internet. And it's like the nervous system of our organization. After World War II, we moved towards wave 4, which is all about instinct. It's all about automation. Companies like IBM were making chips, computers, operating systems, and software to automate all the internal processes within organizations. And today we have SAP systems, CRM systems, Windows environments, all these kind of systems that help us to automate all the internal processes within the organizations. And then we move to wave 5. And wave 5 is again about imitation. It's called the social media revolution that we have encountered in the last 20 years. So with the internet, we started to upload documents, photos, videos, all kind of information. We started to learn from each other in groups. We started to behave in a more social way in social communities. And we used big data and analytics to learn from other organisms and other organizations. And today we have entered the 6th wave, which is again about intelligence. But it's now not about the new cortex brain, it's about AI in the cloud that will help us to learn and adapt in real time and to solve much bigger problems. And in about 3 or 4 years from now, we will enter the 7th wave, which is all about imagination. And this wave will be all about the holographic revolution, mixed reality, augmented reality, spatial computing, which will help us to develop a universal language, understand concepts, and to visualize things. So basically the waves of change are repeating themselves, but now on a much higher scale. And as you can see, these waves are getting shorter. So the agricultural revolution took thousands of years. The industrial revolution took hundreds of years. The internet wave took only 20 years. And now we are in the AI wave, which will only take 9 or 10 years, but will have twice the impact of the internet. So AI is a massive transformative and disruptive wave that will have a massive impact, and especially on education and the workforce that we have today. Like I told you before, it's not about technology, it's about human needs. So basically what technology is doing, it's automating a need, and then we can focus on the next need. I think you're all familiar with the work of Abraham Maslow. And what he discovered is that there's some kind of hierarchy in how we solve our needs. And basically what technology is doing, it's automating a need that we can focus on the next need on top of that, and it's automating that as well. So we can focus on a higher need. And today we are moving towards the sixth need, which is all about aesthetics, beauty, order, symmetry, finding balance. And the top layer of the pyramid is about self-actualization. It's about a future long or lifelong learning. It's about personal development. It's all about education. And as you can see, these organizations are getting bigger in a shorter amount of time. And I predict, as you can see now, OpenAI or ChatGPT, these organizations are growing extremely fast. In the seventh wave, 3 years from now, we will have education organizations, which will be the new Googles, the new Facebooks of the digital world, which will help people to be educated free for nothing, 24/7, however you like it, and completely personalized. So now we have entered the sixth wave, which is all about artificial intelligence. And when I start to talk about artificial intelligence, people get a little bit scared. And that's because we have seen a lot of movies, dystopian movies like The Matrix or The Terminator or Ex Machina. But we also know in the back of our minds is that not that long ago, this was the level of intelligence, the paperclip from Microsoft Office. It was everything but intelligent. But today, computers are evolving very, very rapidly. And if you want to understand how artificial intelligence work, you also have to understand how biological intelligence works. So imagine a baby a few seconds after birth. The reptile brain is fully operational. All the internal processes and the reflexes are working. The mammal brain, the social brain, is already fully operational. It has a direct bond with the father or the mother due to the sound of the voice or the smell. But the neocortex brain, the AI in the cloud, is like a clean sheet of paper. And the baby starts to use its sensors, its eyes, its ears, its sight, to make sense of the world, to recognize simple patterns and shapes. And when it can do that, it can start to move. It can start to grab stuff. It can start to crawl and then walk. And when they're 2 or 3 years old, they start to speak and understand language, which is a more advanced pattern. And when they're older, when they're 18 years old, they understand the context of our society and they are allowed to make decisions. Well, AI is going through these same stages, but much, much faster. Artificial intelligence is already more capable than humans in recognizing images. AI is already more capable in interpreting sensor information. If you put those sensors and cameras in a car or a drone, these cars are already able to drive safer than human beings can do. And now we are moving to the third stage. AI starts to understand language. Language is a highly complex pattern, but it understands it right now. And it immediately understands 150, 160 different kind of languages. And when AI starts to understand language, it starts to understand each WhatsApp message, each contract, each conversation, each phone call. And then it can start to make decisions. And that's what we are going to see in the next 2 or 3 years at a very rapid pace. We already see that AI is being implemented in all kinds of devices and applications. With this application, you can make a photograph of the backside of your eye. And what they discovered is that the backside of your eye is like a representation of the vascular system around your heart. So if there are any abnormalities here, they're probably also around your heart, and they can send you to a cardiologist or to a medical expert. So AI is already impacting healthcare industry. So putting knowledge from books in your head is a waste of time. AI can do that for us. So we can focus on different kind of things within healthcare. As you can see here, with one image of your retina, it can predict your age, if you have cardiovascular risks, your biological sex, if you're smoking or not, your BMI, all kind of biomarkers can be extracted from one single picture. And today you need to go to the hospital and have research for hours, but this can do the same within 1 second using internet and AI. We also see that AI is being implemented in cars and in drones. And as you can see here, it's a Chinese car brand. It can drive fully autonomous. So these cars understand their environment and learn to understand their environment even better every day. And as you can see, the environment is quite complex, and they're able to navigate through that complex environment. And you have to understand, when there are 1 million of these cars online, and each car is learning new skills, and they upload that skill. They can learn from each other, and then each car is learning a million times faster than the other cars. Also, robots. We see AI being used in all kind of robotics, and with these robots, AI can keep balance and can walk on two legs, for example. But it can also do much more complex movements, and it can solve all kind of problems. And these robots are getting cheaper and more advanced every year, and they can help us to solve all kind of boring jobs, and focus on things, so that we can focus on things that really matter, that are more human-like jobs. As you can see, the movements of these robots are quite organic, quite natural already. And each year, the performance of these robots is doubling. So they become cheaper and more capable. We also see that large corporations like Amazon are using robots now. And that's because you can talk to these robots like you talk to a human being. So you can give them instructions, put the crate out of the wall, and put them on a conveyor belt. And then the robot understands that. So you can become a programmer of a robot by simply using your voice. About 10 years ago, they used 1,000 robots at Amazon. Today, 750,000. So it's an exponential increase in the number of robots. So all the boring jobs that are not worth our human attention are being automated by these kind of machines. And programming of robots also becomes much more simple. So with using GPT technology, you can talk to the machine, and then it programs the robot on a low-level motor language. And you can do all kind of complex things, which we couldn't imagine 5 or 10 years ago. And now we are entering a new time, a time where machines start to adapt to us, because in the last 20, 30 years, we have adapted to technology by learning a program language or by learning to use software. But now machines become more intelligent and they start to adapt to us. And that will make a very big change, because we can stay who we are. We can stay human, and machines can do all the rest. And I think last year, when ChatGPT was launched, we saw a massive breakthrough in how these machines understand language. And within 2 months, about 100 million users embraced this new technology because it's so intuitive, it's so user-friendly. By using natural language, it doesn't matter what language, you can interact with these machines and you can do all kinds of things. But these systems become more advanced. They feed the system with all kinds of academic tests. And ChatGPT 3 was in the lowest 10% of the students. But ChatGPT 4, which was a tenfold more complex, is at the 10%, the best 10% of the students. And as you can see here, the green bars is how ChatGPT performed, and the icon of the human being is how human beings performed. So, of course, you cannot compare the IQ of a human with the IQ of a machine, because this is all about cognitive intelligence. It's not about body intelligence, about emotional intelligence. So it's a very small part of intelligence. But within that small part, it becomes much more advanced than humans can be. We also see that ChatGPT, for example, can now see, speak, and hear. So you can interact with it like you can interact with a normal human being. And this will change everything. So think of all kinds of digital tutors that can help students to become skilled in a certain skill or a certain topic. And you can create all kinds of GPT versions that can teach a specific skill, or that can coach or mentor students, so they have their own learning experience, which is completely adapted to their needs. Of course, this does not replace humans, but it's, I think, a nice add-on, which is 24/7 available, and it's very capable, and it's becoming even more capable in the next few years. We also see all kinds of specialized GPTs. Meet BioGPT, for example. It's for biomedical research. So it makes this advanced knowledge and information available to the majority of us. So we can all use and interact with this kind of knowledge. MedPalm 2 is also a large language model. It's like a GPT from Google, but it's highly specialized in all kind of medical expertise. So you can ask it all kind of questions, like you can ask a doctor a question. So soon we will have the smartest doctor in the world within your pocket for free. And this is already outperforming human beings. So we are just at the beginning. But also in the creative part. So by describing what you want to see, an image can be generated by AI, which is photorealistic. 2 years ago, you needed an artist for this to make an artist impression, and it will cost you thousands of dollars or euros. Today, you can do it behind your laptop within a few seconds. It can even generate pictures of photorealistic human beings, which are hard to distinguish with real humans. You can even make your own movie. So this technology enables you to write a prompt of what you want to see, and it's generating HD videos. So a few years ago, what costed you $150 million to make a movie? I think in 1 or 2 years from now, you can do the same thing for 10,000 euros. So a lot of technology is coming available for individuals around the world, for students, and they can produce things which we cannot even imagine a few years ago. Or programming an app, for example. So with this application, you can describe what you want. You can chat with the system. You have a conversation. The system is asking you a couple of questions, and in the background is programming an app for you or a website. It's making the designs, it's making all the code, and you can publish it. So this will enable a very large group of students to enter the IT space, to make their own applications, to make their own tools, that make their life more easy, or to earn a living, for example. But also in the engineering industry. So systems start to understand how products work, and you can inspire them. The system starts to generate all kind of products, hundreds or millions of versions. You can cherry pick that one that you like, and you can 3D print them. And the outcome is really mind-boggling. So on the left side, we see a system that's designed by a human, very straightforward, a lot of material. On the right side, we see a hybrid version, inspired by a human, designed by a machine. And I believe that's the future. So a collaboration between humans and machines. We do the outline thinking, the creativity part, and the machines are filling in the gaps. So imagine that you have an AI with an IQ of 1500, and you can ask it to design all kind of products. And that's what's going to happen in the next few years. So if you want to design a product, you can ask the machine to do that for you. And you can compare those products, and you can choose the ones that you like, and you can 3D print them. So engineering and design becomes available to a very wide audience. And finally, we can 3D print them to make it happen. So the big question is, how will this impact human beings? Well, about 80% of the economy is about hard skills. Well, robots and AI are very good at automating hard skills. And every hard skill is something that can be defined by rules. And if it can be defined by rules, you can digitize it, you can automate it, and it will become cheaper and cheaper, and it will become a commodity. And I think a lot of things can be defined by rules. You can describe something, put the dirty dish in the dishwasher, for example, and when the robot has enough contextual knowledge, it can automate that for you. So the big question is, what are we going to do as human beings, and how should we educate the next generation? Well, I believe that everything that cannot be digitized will increase in value. And I'm talking about soft human skills. Think of ethics, compassion, emotions, creativity, curiosity, flexibility, imagination. All these things will become more important because robots will do all the rest. So it doesn't matter. It's worthless to run even faster than the AI machines. But I think we should differentiate ourselves into a different direction and become more human after all. So the future, the jobs of today look like this. 80% of your job is hard skills, about 20% of soft skills. Of course, this is average. It's not for everyone. And I think in the near future, we will see jobs that are about 20% hard skills and 80% soft skills. So that's the future that we are moving towards. And I believe that's a very beautiful future where everyone can explore his full creative potential. So that's it. My time is up. If you like my presentation, you can scan the QR code and you can download the slide deck if you will. And also read my ebook for free. And you can download it and it will be sent into your inbox as well. Thank you for your attention. I hope that I inspired you and that I make you think differently about the future and about how technology evolves and how it will impact society and education as well. Thank you very much. So.